Hey there, welcome back to our channel. If you're enjoying our content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to join our community. Now, let's dive into today's story. In the heart of Florence, where the Arno River lazily weaves its way past cobblestone streets and sunlit piazzas, there lies a world unseen by most. It is a world where shadows deepen under the brushstrokes of genius, and whispers of the past echo through the hallowed halls of time. Here, amidst the grandeur of Renaissance art, the dark side of creation waits to reveal its secrets. The protagonist of our tale, a young art historian named Alara, found herself drawn to this enigmatic world. Her days were spent in the hushed galleries of the Uffizi, where masterpieces adorned the walls like windows into another era. The air was thick with the scent of aged oil paints and varnished wood, a sensory tapestry that stirred the imagination and beckoned one to explore further. Alara's journey into the mysteries of Renaissance art began with a single piece, a portrait by an artist whose name had faded into obscurity. The painting, though lesser known, possessed an uncanny allure. It depicted a woman with eyes that seemed to follow the viewer, her expression a blend of melancholy and defiance. The background, a swirling tempest of dark blues and greens, hinted at hidden depths beyond the canvas. There was something about the painting that spoke to Alara, a silent plea from the past that demanded her attention. As she stood before it, the gallery around her seemed to fade, leaving only the portrait and its secrets. Her fingers itched to uncover the layers of history that lay beneath the surface, and so began her quest to unravel the tapestry of the artist's life. Her research led her to the dusty archives of the Biblioteca Nazionale, where the scent of old parchment mingled with the soft rustle of turning pages. Here, she uncovered the story of the artist, a man named Lucio Santini, who had lived and worked in Florence during the height of the Renaissance. Yet, unlike his contemporaries, Santini's name had not survived the march of time. According to the scant records she uncovered, Santini had been a master of chiaroscuro, the art of using light and shadow to create depth and drama. His works were said to hold a haunting beauty, capturing the essence of the human soul in ways that were both mesmerizing and unsettling. But there was more to his story, a thread of darkness that wove its way through the fabric of his life. Whispers of madness and obsession clung to Santini like a shroud. It was said that his passion for his art bordered on the fanatical, driving him to the brink of sanity. He would lock himself away for days on end, emerging only when a new creation was born. The townsfolk spoke of strange lights in his studio at night and eerie melodies that floated on the breeze. Intrigued and undeterred by these tales, Alara delved deeper into Santini's world. She sought out his former studio, a forgotten corner of Florence where ivy crept along the walls and time seemed to stand still. The building, though dilapidated, retained an air of elegance, as if the echoes of its glorious past lingered in its very bones. With a sense of reverence, Alara stepped inside. Dust motes danced in the shafts of sunlight that filtered through cracked windows, casting ephemeral patterns on the worn wooden floor. The air was cool and still, a silent testament to the creativity that had once flourished here. As Alara explored the studio, she discovered a hidden alcove, concealed behind a tapestry of fading flowers. Her heart quickened as she peeled back the fabric, revealing a small, secret chamber. Inside, she found a collection of Santini's sketches, their lines imbued with a raw intensity that spoke of his inner turmoil. Among the sketches lay a journal, its leather cover worn and cracked with age. Alara's fingers trembled as she opened it, the pages whispering secrets long kept hidden. Santini's handwriting, though spidery and uneven, conveyed a passion that leapt from the page, a torrent of thoughts and emotions that flowed like a river in flood. The journal revealed Santini's descent into darkness, a journey fueled by his insatiable desire to capture the essence of the human soul. Each entry was a window into his mind, revealing the struggles and triumphs of a man consumed by his art. Yet, within the pages, Alara found hints of something more, a mystery that beckoned her to delve deeper. Santini wrote of a muse, a woman whose presence haunted his thoughts and filled his dreams. Her name was Isabella, and she was the subject of the portrait that had first captured Alara's attention. Santini's words painted a picture of a woman of rare beauty and spirit, her eyes a mirror to the soul, reflecting both light and shadow. But Isabella's story was shrouded in tragedy. Santini's journal hinted at a love that was both transcendent and doomed, a connection that defied the boundaries of time and space. He spoke of secret meetings and stolen moments, of a bond that neither death nor destiny could sever. As Alara read, she felt the weight of Santini's obsession, a force that had driven him to the edge of madness. His longing for Isabella was palpable, a yearning that transcended the physical realm and delved into the metaphysical. He believed that through his art, he could immortalize her essence, capturing her spirit in a way that defied mortality. Yet, as the pages turned, the tone of the journal shifted. Santini's entries grew darker, his words tinged with despair. He spoke of visions and dreams that haunted his nights, of a shadowy figure that loomed ever closer. He believed that his art had awakened something malevolent, a force that threatened to consume him and all he held dear. Alara's heart raced as she reached the final entry, a passage that sent shivers down her spine. Santini wrote of a final painting, a work that would transcend all others, capturing the true essence of Isabella's soul. He believed that this masterpiece would free them both from the chains of mortality, allowing their spirits to soar beyond the confines of this world. But the painting was never completed. The journal ended abruptly, leaving a void that begged to be filled. Alara knew that she had uncovered only a fragment of Santini's story, a tantalizing glimpse into a world of passion and peril. Yet, within that fragment lay the seeds of a mystery that demanded resolution, a puzzle that only she could solve. Determined to uncover the truth, Alara set out to find the missing piece of Santini's legacy. She would follow the threads of history and art, unraveling the tapestry of a life that had been both extraordinary and tragic. And in doing so, she would come to understand the dark side of Renaissance art, a world where beauty and obsession danced in the shadows, forever entwined. Alara stood in the dim light of her modest study, the air thick with anticipation and the faint scent of ancient parchment. The journal lay open before her, its pages filled with Santini's fervent script, his dreams and despair etched into every line. The words seemed to pulse with a life of their own, whispering secrets from centuries past, urging her to delve deeper into the enigma of his unfinished painting. The shadows in the room seemed to lengthen as dusk settled outside, casting an ethereal glow upon the scattered papers and sketches that surrounded her. Each document was a clue, a piece of a puzzle that spanned the ages. Alara felt the weight of history pressing down upon her, a silent testament to the countless lives touched by Santini's genius and madness. With a resolute heart, she closed the journal and gathered her notes, her mind racing with possibilities. She knew that to uncover the truth, she would need to venture beyond the confines of her study, to walk the streets that Santini once knew, to breathe the air that had inspired his creations. She would have to journey into the heart of Renaissance Italy, where art and intrigue had once thrived in equal measure. As she packed her bag, Alara's thoughts drifted to Isabella, the muse who had captured Santini's heart and soul. The woman whose likeness had been immortalized in countless works, yet whose true essence remained elusive. What had driven Santini to such depths of obsession? What had he seen in Isabella that had compelled him to create, to destroy, and to ultimately leave his masterpiece unfinished? The answers lay in Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance, where the ghosts of artists and patrons still lingered in the cobblestone streets and grand palazzos. It was there that Alara would find the final pieces of the puzzle, the missing threads that would complete the tapestry of Santini's life. The journey was long and arduous, a pilgrimage through time and space that tested Alara's resolve. As the train wound its way through the rolling hills of Tuscany, she watched the landscape unfold like a living canvas, each scene a testament to the enduring beauty that had inspired generations of artists. Upon arriving in Florence, Alara was greeted by the city's vibrant energy, a symphony of sights and sounds that seemed to echo from another era. The air was thick with the scent of roasted chestnuts and aged stone, mingling with the distant strains of a street musician's violin. It was a city alive with history, where every corner held a story waiting to be told. Alara's first destination was the Uffizi Gallery, a treasure trove of Renaissance art where Santini's works were rumored to be housed. Entering the grand halls, she was immediately enveloped by the grandeur of the past, surrounded by masterpieces that spoke of divine inspiration and human frailty. The paintings seemed to come alive under her gaze, each brushstroke a testament to the artist's hand, each color a reflection of their soul. As she wandered through the gallery, Alara's thoughts were consumed by Santini's unfinished painting, the elusive masterpiece that had haunted her dreams. She studied each work with a discerning eye, searching for clues that might lead her to its whereabouts. The air was thick with anticipation, a palpable tension that seemed to vibrate through the walls. It was in a secluded alcove that she found it, a small, unassuming canvas tucked away amidst the grandeur of the larger works. The painting depicted Isabella, her eyes filled with a haunting sadness that seemed to reach out from the past. Yet, something was amiss. The background was incomplete, the brushstrokes uncertain, as if the artist's hand had faltered in the final moments. Alara's heart quickened as she examined the painting, her fingers tracing the delicate lines with reverence. It was as if Santini's spirit lingered in the canvas, his essence woven into the very fabric of the work. She could feel his presence, a whisper in the silence, urging her to look deeper, to see beyond the surface. As she stood before the painting, Alara realized that the true masterpiece was not a single work, but a collection of moments, a tapestry of experiences that transcended the confines of the canvas. It was a story that spoke of love and loss, of passion and despair, a narrative that had unfolded over time and space. The gallery began to empty as the day drew to a close, the fading light casting long shadows across the marble floors. Yet Alara remained, her mind lost in contemplation, her heart heavy with the weight of Santini's legacy. She knew that her journey was far from over, that the answers she sought lay hidden in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. As she left the gallery, the cool evening air enveloped her like a shroud, a reminder of the mysteries that still lingered in the twilight. The streets of Florence were alive with the hum of life, a testament to the enduring spirit of the city. Alara walked with purpose, her footsteps echoing in the night, a solitary figure in pursuit of the truth. Her quest led her to the archives of the Palazzo Vecchio, a labyrinth of knowledge housed within ancient walls. Here, among the dust and shadows, she hoped to find the missing pieces of Santini's story, the fragments that would complete the picture of his life. The archives were a world unto themselves, a sanctuary of silence and secrets where time seemed to stand still. Alara moved through the aisles, her fingers brushing against the spines of forgotten tomes, her eyes scanning the faded pages for any mention of Santini and his muse. It was in a forgotten corner of the archives that she stumbled upon a letter, its parchment yellowed with age, the ink faded but still legible. The letter was addressed to Santini, written by a fellow artist who had once shared his studio. It spoke of a final meeting, a clandestine gathering in the heart of Florence, where Santini had revealed his plans for the masterpiece that would never come to be. Alara's heart quickened as she read the words, the letter a bridge to the past, a glimpse into the mind of a man consumed by his art. The meeting had taken place in the shadow of the Duomo, a place where beauty and madness had converged, where Santini had laid bare his soul. Determined to retrace Santini's steps, Alara made her way to the Duomo, its majestic dome rising against the night sky like a beacon of hope. The square was quiet, the echoes of the past reverberating through the stones, a silent testament to the events that had unfolded there. As she stood in the moonlight, Alara felt a sense of connection to the man whose life she had come to know so intimately. She could almost see him there, his figure silhouetted against the cathedral, his eyes filled with a longing that transcended time. In that moment, Alara understood the true essence of Santini's art, the dark side of the Renaissance that had driven him to the brink of madness. It was a world where beauty and obsession were intertwined, where the pursuit of perfection could lead to one's downfall. Yet, in the midst of the darkness, there was a glimmer of light, a promise of redemption, of understanding, of transcendence. It was this promise that had drawn Santini to Isabella, that had compelled him to create a masterpiece that would capture the essence of their souls. And it was this promise that now guided Alara, a beacon in the night, leading her ever closer to the truth. As she stood in the shadow of the Duomo, she felt a sense of peace, a quiet assurance that her journey was not in vain. For in the end, it was not the answers that mattered, but the journey itself, the pursuit of beauty, of truth, of understanding. It was a journey that had begun with a single brushstroke and would continue to unfold, like a tapestry of light and shadow, forever entwined. Alara stood beneath the imposing silhouette of the Duomo, its grandiose facade etched against the velvet sky, each intricate carving and sculpted figure cloaked in the soft luminescence of the moon. The air was thick with the scent of ancient stone and the lingering whispers of history. Her heart beat in rhythm with the city, a living tapestry woven from the threads of countless stories, each more vibrant and profound than the last. As she walked along the cobblestone streets, her footsteps echoed softly, a solitary symphony in the quiet of the night. The city seemed to breathe with her, its secrets murmured in the rustling of leaves and the distant lullaby of a hidden fountain. She felt the weight of the past pressing against her, a tangible presence that urged her forward, deeper into the labyrinth of Florence's soul. Isabella had been more than a muse. She was a living embodiment of the Renaissance spirit, an enigmatic figure whose beauty and grace had inspired not only Santini but an entire era. Her presence lingered in the air like a haunting melody, a reminder of the duality that lay at the heart of creation. The light and the dark, the divine and the human, the eternal struggle for balance. Alara's thoughts drifted to Santini, the tortured genius whose passion had driven him to the brink. In his art, she saw the shadows that lurked beneath the surface of beauty, the hidden truths that whispered from every brushstroke. His work was an exploration of the human condition, a dance between light and dark that revealed the depths of his soul. As she wandered through the narrow alleys, Alara's mind was a tapestry of images and emotions, a kaleidoscope of the past and present, of myth and reality. She could feel the pulse of the city beneath her feet, a living entity that thrived on the energy of its inhabitants, past and present. It was in this state of heightened awareness that she stumbled upon the entrance to a hidden courtyard, its wrought iron gate slightly ajar as if inviting her in. The courtyard was a secret oasis, a sanctuary of tranquility nestled amidst the bustling city. Its cobblestones were worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, and its walls were adorned with climbing ivy, their leaves whispering in the gentle breeze. In the center of the courtyard stood a fountain, its water catching the moonlight in a cascade of silvery droplets. Alara approached it slowly, mesmerized by the play of light and shadow on the water's surface. It was here, in this secluded haven, that she felt the presence of Santini and Isabella most acutely, their spirits entwined in a timeless dance of creation and destruction. As she closed her eyes, she imagined the scene that had unfolded here so many years ago, the passionate exchanges between artist and muse, the fevered brushstrokes that had given birth to a masterpiece. She could almost hear the whispers of their conversations, the soft laughter and the shared dreams that had defied the constraints of time. But there was another presence here, one that lingered in the shadows, watching and waiting. It was the darkness that had haunted Santini, the specter of doubt and despair that had threatened to consume him. Alara could feel its icy tendrils reaching out to her, seeking to ensnare her in its grasp. Yet, in the face of this darkness, she felt a surge of determination, a resolve to uncover the truth and bring light to the shadows. She would not be swayed by the whispers of doubt, nor would she succumb to the fear that threatened to overwhelm her. There was a deeper truth to be found, a revelation that lay just beyond her grasp. With renewed purpose, Alara opened her eyes and turned away from the fountain, her gaze drawn to a narrow staircase that wound its way up the side of the courtyard. The steps were steep and worn, their edges softened by time and use. She ascended them slowly, each step bringing her closer to the heart of the mystery that had drawn her here. At the top of the staircase, she found herself on a small terrace, its view overlooking the city below. The rooftops stretched out before her like a sea of terracotta waves, their surfaces illuminated by the glow of the moon. In the distance, the Arno River glimmered like a ribbon of silver, a lifeline that had sustained Florence for centuries. As she stood there, the night air cool against her skin, Alara felt a profound sense of connection to the city and its people, to the artists and dreamers who had walked these streets before her. She was a part of a continuum, a living thread in the tapestry of history, and it was this realization that filled her with a sense of hope and purpose. In that moment, she understood that the journey was not about finding answers, but about embracing the questions, the mysteries that lay at the heart of the human experience. It was about the pursuit of beauty and truth, the exploration of the light and dark within us all. And it was this understanding that gave her the strength to continue her journey, to delve deeper into the enigma of Santini's art and the legacy of the Renaissance. With a sense of quiet determination, she turned away from the terrace and began her descent, her footsteps echoing softly in the night. As she retraced her steps through the courtyard, the shadows seemed to part before her, revealing glimpses of the past and the promise of the future. She felt the presence of Santini and Isabella with her, guiding her on her quest for understanding, for redemption, for transcendence. And as she stepped back into the streets of Florence, she carried with her the knowledge that the journey was far from over. There were more secrets to uncover, more layers to peel back, more truths to reveal. The path stretched out before her like an endless ribbon, a tapestry of light and shadow that beckoned her onward. For in the end, it was not the answers that mattered, but the journey itself, the pursuit of beauty, of truth, of understanding. It was a journey that had begun with a single brushstroke and would continue to unfold, a dance between light and dark, forever entwined. The night air wrapped around her like a velvet cloak as she wandered the cobblestone streets of Florence, her thoughts a symphony of whispers and revelations. The city, a living canvas of ancient stone and timeless artistry, seemed to breathe in rhythm with her own heartbeat. Each step she took was a note, each shadow a rest, composing a melody of history and mystery that played in the depths of her mind. Alina's senses were heightened, attuned to the subtle nuances of the night. The scent of jasmine and orange blossoms lingered in the air, a fragrant reminder of the city's eternal romance with beauty. The distant murmur of the Arno River provided a soothing backdrop, its waters a mirror reflecting the moon's silvery glow. She felt as if she were walking through a dream, a realm suspended between reality and the ethereal. Her mind drifted back to the events of the evening, the revelations that had unfolded like the petals of a night-blooming flower. The hidden symbols in Santini's paintings, the enigmatic allure of Isabella's portrait, the shadowed whispers of the past, all these threads wove together into a tapestry of intrigue and wonder. It was a pattern she was determined to unravel, a mystery that demanded her attention and her heart. As she wandered, the streets began to empty, the late hour drawing the city's inhabitants to the sanctuary of their homes. Yet Elena felt no inclination to return to the quiet solitude of her own abode. Instead, she followed an invisible thread, a guiding line of intuition that led her to a secluded part of the city she had not yet explored. The alleyway she found herself in was narrow and dimly lit, the kind of place where secrets lingered and stories were born. The walls on either side were adorned with faded frescoes, their colors muted by time but still vibrant in their expression. She paused to examine them, her fingers tracing the outlines of figures caught in eternal dance, their movements frozen yet alive with emotion. As she stood there, she became aware of a presence nearby, a subtle shift in the air that spoke of a watchful gaze. It was a sensation that sent a thrill of anticipation through her, a reminder that she was not alone in her quest. She turned slowly, her eyes scanning the shadows until they alighted upon a figure standing at the entrance of a small, unassuming door. The figure was cloaked in darkness, their features obscured by the night. Yet there was an unmistakable aura of familiarity about them, a connection that transcended the physical. Elena felt drawn to them, as if they held the key to the questions that danced in her mind. Do you seek the truth, or merely the illusion of it? The voice that emerged from the shadows was soft yet resonant, a melody of words that lingered in the air like a haunting refrain. Elena hesitated, the question echoing within her. What was it she truly sought? The truth, in all its stark and unyielding beauty? Or the comforting veil of illusion, a tapestry woven from dreams and desires? I seek the truth, she replied, her voice steady with conviction. Even if it is hidden beneath layers of shadow and light. The figure nodded, a gesture of understanding that transcended words. They stepped forward, the play of light revealing a face both familiar and enigmatic. It was a face she recognized from the paintings, from the whispered stories of Florence's past. A face that had been both ally and enigma in her journey. Then follow me, the figure said, turning toward the door. For the truth lies within, and it is a story that must be heard. Elena followed without hesitation, her heart a steady drumbeat of anticipation. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase that descended into the depths of the building. The air was cool and tinged with the scent of history, a reminder of the layers of time that lay beneath the city's surface. As they descended, the figure spoke, their voice a guide through the darkness. This place is a sanctuary, a repository of knowledge and secrets long forgotten. It is a place where the past and present converge, where the shadows of history dance with the light of revelation. The staircase ended in a small chamber, its walls lined with shelves overflowing with books and scrolls. The air was thick with the scent of parchment and ink, a testament to the stories contained within. A single candle flickered on a wooden table, casting a warm glow that illuminated the face of her guide. Elena recognized him now, the features of the man who had been both a mentor and a mystery. He was the custodian of the past, the keeper of secrets that spanned centuries. His eyes, a deep well of wisdom and sorrow, met hers with a gaze that spoke of shared understanding. Here, he said, gesturing to the table where a collection of scrolls lay unfurled. This is where the truth begins, where the stories of the Renaissance unfold in all their complexity and contradiction. Elena stepped forward, her fingers brushing the parchment with reverence. The scrolls were filled with intricate details, sketches and notes that hinted at the hidden side of the art she had come to love. There were tales of patronage and power, of artists who had danced on the edge of genius and madness, of a world where beauty and darkness were forever entwined. As she read, the stories came alive in her mind, a vivid tapestry of lives lived in pursuit of immortality through art. She saw the faces of the artists, their hands stained with paint and blood, their hearts torn between the divine and the profane. She felt the weight of their struggles, their triumphs and tragedies woven into the very fabric of their creations. And amidst it all, she found the echoes of her own journey, her own search for meaning in a world that often seemed to defy understanding. She saw herself reflected in the eyes of those who had come before, a lineage of seekers and dreamers who had dared to explore the dark side of beauty. The night stretched on, the candle burning low as Elena immersed herself in the stories of the past. She felt the presence of those who had walked this path before her, their whispers a symphony of encouragement and wisdom. She was not alone in her quest, she was part of a continuum, a dance of light and shadow that transcended time. As the first light of dawn crept through the narrow window, casting a golden hue over the chamber, Elena looked up from the scrolls. Her heart was full, her mind alight with understanding and purpose. She had glimpsed the darker side of the Renaissance, the shadows that lurked behind the brilliance of the era, and she had emerged with a deeper appreciation for the complexity of truth. With a quiet determination, she rose from the table, her eyes meeting those of her guide. There were no words needed, only a shared acknowledgement of the journey they had undertaken together. She felt a sense of peace, a quiet resolve to continue seeking, to continue unraveling the tapestry of history and art. For the journey was far from over. There were more stories to uncover, more layers to peel back, more truths to reveal. The path stretched out before her like an endless ribbon, a dance between light and dark, forever entwined. And as she stepped back into the streets of Florence, she carried with her the knowledge that the journey was a dance that would continue to unfold, a dance that would forever guide her toward the heart of beauty and truth. The cobbled streets of Florence, bathed in the warm glow of the fading afternoon sun, beckoned to her like an old friend. Each step she took was accompanied by the soft murmur of history whispering secrets through the echoes of time. The air was thick with the scent of aged stone and blossoms, a fragrant reminder of the city's eternal romance with art and culture. As she wandered through the narrow alleys, her senses heightened, every texture and color seemed to pulse with life. The walls, adorned with remnants of frescoes, wore the stories of ages past. She paused occasionally, running her fingers over the cool, rough surfaces, feeling the vibrations of the hands that had crafted them centuries ago. The city itself was a canvas, a living masterpiece that had witnessed the ebb and flow of human endeavor. The shadows lengthened, casting intricate patterns across her path, like delicate lacework spun by unseen hands. Her mind drifted back to the tales she had uncovered, the darker truths that lay hidden beneath the Renaissance's resplendent facade. Before her, the Arno River glistened in the waning light, a ribbon of liquid gold that wound its way through the heart of the city. She found herself drawn to its banks, where the gentle lapping of water provided a soothing counterpoint to the tumultuous revelations swirling in her mind. There, she paused, allowing the serenity of the scene to wash over her. As she stood gazing at the river, a soft rustle reached her ears, a whisper carried on the breeze. She turned to find a figure approaching, cloaked in shadows yet familiar. Her guide, the keeper of secrets, had followed her steps. There was a mutual understanding in their eyes, a silent acknowledgement of the bond forged through shared discovery. "There's more to see," the guide said, voice barely above a murmur, yet each word resonated with promise. Together, they ventured forth, leaving the river's embrace behind, their path illuminated by the soft glow of street lamps flickering to life. They found themselves in a quiet courtyard, where the echoes of laughter and music from nearby gatherings seemed distant, softened by the embrace of night. The guide gestured toward an unassuming door, its wood weathered by time. "In there lies another story, a piece of the puzzle," they explained, their voice carrying the weight of untold wonders. With measured steps, she crossed the threshold, the air within cool and heavy with the scent of old books and parchment. Shelves lined the walls, filled with volumes whose spines bore the marks of countless fingers tracing their secrets. She felt the pull of curiosity, an insatiable desire to uncover what lay hidden within those pages. Her guide led her to a table where a single book lay open, its pages illuminated by the soft glow of a nearby lamp. The script was delicate, the ink faded with time, yet its message was clear. It spoke of forgotten artists, those who had dared to defy convention, to explore the darker nuances of the human soul through their work. With each page she turned, she felt herself drawn deeper into the tapestry of history, the threads of intrigue and passion weaving together to form an intricate design. The artists she read about had embraced the shadows, using them to cast light on truths often left unspoken. Their work was a testament to the complexity of the human condition, a reflection of the duality that lay at the heart of existence. Lost in the world of words and images, she scarcely noticed the passage of time. The night deepened, the silence around her thickening, save for the occasional creak of the building settling into its ancient bones. Her guide watched her in silence, understanding the allure of discovery, the draw of knowledge. Finally, she closed the book, the echoes of its stories lingering in her mind. "They saw beyond the light," she whispered, more to herself than to her guide. "They understood that beauty and darkness are intertwined, that one cannot exist without the other." Her guide nodded, their expression one of quiet satisfaction. "And so must we, as seekers of truth. We must embrace both the light and the dark, for it is only through understanding both that we can truly appreciate the richness of our world." Emerging once more into the night, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The stories she had uncovered were only the beginning, a glimpse into the vastness of human creativity and the mysteries it sought to unveil. There were more tales to discover, more layers to peel back, more truths to uncover. As they walked through the city, the streets now hushed and serene, she marveled at the beauty of the night. The stars, like scattered jewels, adorned the sky, each one a reminder of the infinite possibilities that lay before her. The moon cast a gentle glow, its light a guiding beacon on her continued journey. In the quiet moments between the heartbeats of the city, she felt a sense of peace. The path she had chosen was fraught with challenges, yet it was one she embraced with open arms. For in the dance between light and dark, she had found her calling, a quest for truth, for understanding, for the beauty that lay in the shadows. And so, with her guide by her side, she continued onward, her heart alight with the promise of discovery, her soul attuned to the song of the past. The journey was far from over, but she welcomed it with the fervor of a traveler who knows that the destination is but a part of the adventure. As the city of Florence cradled her in its timeless embrace, she knew that the dance would continue, a dance that would lead her ever closer to the heart of beauty and truth. As dawn's first light began to weave its golden threads through the tapestry of Florence, Leona found herself wandering the quiet streets, where the whispers of history seemed to echo off the cobblestones. The city, with its rich tapestry of art and architecture, was slowly awakening, the air filled with the scent of fresh bread and the distant murmur of the Arno River. It was a city that held secrets in its very stones, secrets that she was determined to uncover. Beside her, Matteo, her steadfast guide, walked with a casual grace, his presence a comforting anchor in the swirling sea of uncertainties. His eyes, sharp and discerning, scanned the surroundings, ever watchful for signs that might lead them closer to their goal. Together, they moved through the streets like phantoms, unnoticed by the early risers who were beginning to fill the squares and alleys. Their destination was a small, unassuming workshop nestled in a narrow lane just off the bustling Piazza della Signoria. It was a place that few knew existed, yet it held within its walls the promise of revelations. The workshop belonged to an old friend of Matteo's, a restorer of art who had dedicated his life to peeling back the layers of time to reveal the truths hidden beneath. As they approached the workshop, Leona felt a tingle of anticipation. The door, weathered and worn, creaked open as Matteo knocked with a rhythmic familiarity. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of oil paints and varnish, an aroma that spoke of creation and preservation, of the delicate balance between the past and the present. "Ah, Matteo," a voice called out, warm and welcoming, as a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Giovanni, the restorer, whose hands were stained with the colors of the Renaissance. "And you must be Leona," he added, his eyes twinkling with a curiosity that matched her own. Giovanni's workshop was a sanctuary of art, filled with canvases in various stages of restoration. Each painting was a window into another world, a story waiting to be told. As he led them through the cluttered space, he spoke of the challenges he faced, of the delicate dance required to uncover the original intent of the artists while preserving their work for future generations. Leona listened intently, her mind absorbing each word like a sponge. Here, in this workshop, the dark side of Renaissance art began to reveal itself. Beneath the surface beauty lay hidden messages, political intrigue, and the personal struggles of the artists themselves. It was a world where art was not just a reflection of reality but a tool for change, a weapon wielded in the silent battles of its time. "One piece in particular might interest you," Giovanni said, leading them to a painting draped with a protective cloth. With a flourish, he unveiled it, revealing a work that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. It was a portrait, the subject's eyes filled with a haunting intensity that seemed to pierce through the veil of time. "This," Giovanni explained, "is a portrait of Caterina Sforza, a remarkable woman known for her strength and cunning. But there's more to it than meets the eye." He gestured to the layers beneath, where subtle symbols and hidden motifs spoke of alliances and betrayals, of the complex web of power that Caterina had navigated in her lifetime. As Giovanni's words painted vivid pictures of the past, Leona felt a thrill of discovery. Each brushstroke, each detail, was a piece of a larger puzzle, a narrative that stretched across centuries. It was a reminder that art was not just a passive reflection but an active participant in history, shaping and being shaped by the times in which it was created. The morning slipped by in a symphony of colors and stories, the hours marked by the gentle ticking of a clock somewhere within the workshop. Outside, the city thrummed with life, a constant backdrop to their explorations. Leona felt a deep connection to this place, to the art and the stories it held, and to the people who had dedicated their lives to preserving its legacy. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting its warm glow through the workshop's windows, Giovanni paused, his expression thoughtful. "There's something else," he said, his voice tinged with a hint of secrecy. An old manuscript, a collection of notes and sketches that might hold the key to understanding the hidden layers of Renaissance art. The manuscript was kept in a small, leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed with age but still vibrant with the energy of the thoughts they contained. Giovanni placed it carefully in Leona's hands, his eyes searching hers for a moment before speaking again. "It's not just about the art," he said softly. "It's about the people, their lives and their struggles. This journal belonged to an artist whose name has been lost to history, but whose voice still speaks through these pages. I believe it might help you on your journey." Leona nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude and determination. This was what she had been searching for, a deeper understanding, a connection to the past that would illuminate the path forward. With the journal securely in her grasp, she felt a renewed sense of purpose, a clarity that had eluded her until now. As they took their leave of Giovanni, promising to return with news of their discoveries, Leona felt a sense of anticipation tingling in her veins. The journal was a treasure trove of knowledge, a guide that would lead them ever deeper into the heart of the Renaissance. Together with Matteo, she stepped back into the bustling streets of Florence, the city alive with possibility. The journey was far from over, and she knew that challenges awaited them around each corner. But with each step, she felt more attuned to the rhythm of the city, the pulse of history that beat beneath its surface. As the sun began its descent, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Leona and Matteo found themselves drawn to the banks of the Arno. The river flowed serenely, its waters reflecting the colors of the evening sky. It was a moment of peace, a brief respite before the next chapter of their adventure unfolded. Standing there, with the journal in her hands and the promise of discovery ahead, Leona felt a profound sense of belonging. In the dance between light and dark, she had found her place, a role that resonated with the deepest parts of her soul. And as the city of Florence embraced her with its timeless grace, she knew that her journey was only just beginning, a journey that would lead her ever closer to the heart of beauty and truth, and to the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows of the Renaissance. As the last vestiges of daylight surrendered to the embrace of night, Leona and Matteo lingered by the Arno, its gentle whispering offering solace amidst the weight of their quest. The city around them, once vibrant with the clamor of day, now softened into a tapestry of silhouettes and shadows, each corner of Florence holding a secret, each street whispering tales of old. The journal, with its ancient leather binding and pages worn by time, seemed to pulse in Leona's hands. It was as if the very soul of the Renaissance lay captured within its script, waiting to be deciphered. Matteo, ever the vigilant companion, watched the shifting expressions on Leona's face with a mixture of admiration and curiosity. His own fascination with the art and history of their surroundings seemed to pale in comparison to the fervor he saw within her. "Do you think we'll find what we're looking for?" he asked, breaking the silence, his voice barely rising above the gentle murmur of the river. Leona turned to him, her eyes reflecting the dying light. "I believe the answers have always been here, waiting for us to ask the right questions. Every brushstroke, every sculpture, it's all part of a story we've yet to fully understand." With their resolve renewed, they left the riverbank and ventured into the heart of the city, where the narrow cobblestone streets twisted like veins through the sleeping body of Florence. The air was filled with the scent of aged stone and the faint aroma of jasmine from the gardens hidden behind high walls. It was a night where the past felt tangible, ready to reach out and draw them into its embrace. Their destination was the Palazzo Vecchio, a towering sentinel that had watched over Florence for centuries. The edifice loomed ahead, its facade a testament to the grandeur and intrigue of a bygone era. As they approached, Leona felt a thrill of anticipation mixed with a twinge of apprehension. They were about to step into a place where history and art converged, where the very air seemed to hum with the echoes of secrets long kept. Inside, the palazzo was bathed in a soft golden glow, its halls adorned with frescoes and statues that bore silent witness to the passage of time. Leona and Matteo moved with quiet reverence, their footsteps echoing softly against the marble floors. The walls, adorned with scenes of noble endeavors and mythic triumphs, seemed to watch them with knowing eyes. They were drawn to a particular chamber, the Hall of the 500, a vast expanse dominated by the works of Vasari and, hidden beneath, the whispers of Leonardo's unfinished masterpiece. Here, in this grand arena, the very essence of the Renaissance seemed to converge, an intersection of ambition, artistry, and the enigmatic dance between light and shadow. Leona paused at a fresco, her fingers tracing the air just above its surface, as if she could coax the stories from the pigment with her touch. Matteo joined her, his gaze following hers to the hidden intricacies within the art. "What do you see?" he asked, his voice a hushed murmur. "It's not just the beauty of the art," Leona replied, her eyes narrowing as she focused on the scene before her. "It's the intention behind it, the messages woven into every detail, every choice of color and form. There are layers here, layers that speak of more than just what we see." A soft rustle interrupted their contemplation, a faint sound that seemed to come from the shadows beyond the hall. They exchanged a glance, an unspoken understanding passing between them. Leona tucked the journal securely into her bag, and together they moved toward the source of the disturbance, their senses alert. The corridor they followed was dimly lit, the flickering torches casting elongated shadows that danced along the walls. It was as if the shadows themselves were alive, moving with a purpose known only to them. Leona's heart quickened, the thrill of discovery mingling with a whisper of unease. They rounded a corner and found themselves in a smaller, more intimate gallery. The walls here were lined with portraits, faces from the past gazing back at them with eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 stories. It was a place where time felt suspended, where the boundary between past and present blurred into a tapestry of possibility. In the center of the room stood a figure, cloaked in shadow, their presence as much a part of the gallery as the art itself. Leona and Matteo halted, the air thick with anticipation. The figure turned, stepping into the light, revealing an elderly man, his features etched with the lines of a life well lived. "Good evening," the man spoke, his voice a rich timbre that resonated in the quiet. "I see you have a keen interest in our city's treasures." Leona nodded, her curiosity piqued. "We seek to understand the stories behind the art, the truths that have been hidden in plain sight." The man smiled, a knowing glint in his eyes. "Ah, the dance of shadows and light, a tale as old as time itself. Florence has many secrets, some hidden in the depths of her art, others in the hearts of those who walk her streets." His words were like a key, unlocking doors in Leona's mind. She felt the pieces of their journey aligning, the threads of their quest weaving into a tapestry yet to be fully revealed. Matteo, standing by her side, sensed the gravity of the moment, his own mind racing with possibilities. The art of the Renaissance, the man continued, was not merely an expression of beauty, but a dialogue with the divine, a reflection of the soul's journey. Each piece, each brushstroke, was a step along that path. Leona's heart swelled with understanding, the truth resonating within her. "And what of the darker side of that journey?" she asked, her voice steady but filled with a yearning for knowledge. The man regarded her with a gentle, almost paternal gaze. Even in darkness, there is light to be found, and in light, shadows inevitably play. The artists of the Renaissance understood this duality, embracing it as a part of the human experience. As he spoke, the room seemed to shift around them, the walls whispering tales of ambition, intrigue, and the eternal quest for truth. Leona felt the weight of history pressing in, a reminder of the countless souls who had walked this path before her, each seeking their own place within the grand narrative of time. "Remember," the man said, his voice a gentle echo, "the journey is as important as the destination. Continue to seek, to question, for it is in the pursuit of understanding that we truly find ourselves." With those words, he turned away, his figure merging with the shadows once more, leaving Leona and Matteo alone in the gallery. They stood in silence, the echoes of the past swirling around them, the promise of discovery still burning brightly in their hearts. As they left the palazzo, the night air embraced them, cool and refreshing, a welcome contrast to the intensity of their encounter. The city around them seemed to hum with life, as if Florence herself acknowledged their quest, urging them onward. Leona and Matteo walked in companionable silence, their minds alive with the possibilities that lay ahead. The journal was a comforting weight in Leona's bag, a tangible connection to the world they sought to understand. They knew the road before them would not be easy, that the shadows they pursued would sometimes obscure the light. But they also knew that together, they could face whatever challenges awaited, their shared passion for truth and beauty lighting their path. As the night deepened, the city of Florence cradled them in her ancient arms, a silent promise of mysteries yet to unfold, of stories waiting to be told. And in the heart of the Renaissance, where shadows danced with light, Leona and Matteo continued their journey, ever closer to the secrets hidden within the art they so dearly loved. The gentle embrace of the Florentine night seemed to whisper secrets to Leona and Matteo as they walked through cobblestone streets, each step a rhythmic echo of their shared purpose. The city, a living tapestry woven from centuries of history, exhaled a cool breeze that flicked playfully at their clothes, carrying with it the scent of blooming jasmine and distant wood smoke. Above them, the stars twinkled like scattered diamonds against a velvet sky, their light soft and steady, a celestial audience to the unfolding drama below. The Arno River, winding serenely through the heart of Florence, mirrored the heavens, its surface a mosaic of starlight and shadow, a symbol of the duality that so intrigued them. Leona clutched the journal closer, its leather cover warm from the energy of their discovery. Matteo walked beside her, his thoughts a lively dance of curiosity and anticipation. The document they possessed was not merely a collection of words and sketches, it was a map leading them to the core of a mystery that had bridged centuries. Their footsteps led them toward the heart of the city, where the imposing silhouette of the Duomo rose against the night. Its dome, an architectural marvel of the Renaissance, seemed to glow with an otherworldly light, as if the very stones held within them the passion and genius of their creator, Brunelleschi. Here, too, lay shadows, those cast by the grandeur of human achievement, and those hidden within the intricate mosaics and carvings that adorned the cathedral walls. "Leona," Matteo began, his voice a soft murmur against the nocturnal symphony. "Do you think we'll find what we're looking for here, beneath all this grandeur?" Leona paused, her eyes tracing the lines of the Duomo's facade, absorbing the interplay of light and dark that danced across its surface. "I believe the answers are hidden in the art itself, Matteo. Each brushstroke, each chisel mark is a testament not only to the artist's skill but to the world they inhabited, the fears and hopes that shaped their lives." His gaze followed hers, and together they studied the intricate details of the cathedral, as if searching for a hidden message amongst the angels and saints. "Then we'll need to look beyond the obvious," Matteo mused, to see what others might have missed, or perhaps deliberately obscured. Their journey took them further into the labyrinth of Florence, where narrow alleys opened up into unexpected piazzas, each one a stage for stories long past. The city's rhythm was slow yet purposeful, a reflection of an era when time was measured not in minutes but in the cadence of creation and contemplation. As they ventured deeper into the Altrarno district, the shadows seemed to grow denser, more intimate, as if the night itself was gathering them into its cloak. The streets here were less traveled, their stones worn smooth by the passage of countless feet. It was a place where artisans had plied their trades, where the hands of masters had shaped wood, canvas, and stone into objects of breathtaking beauty. They arrived at a modest workshop, its facade unassuming, its windows darkened against the night. Leona paused, a frisson of anticipation tingling through her. This was the atelier of a long-forgotten painter, one who, according to the journal, had danced perilously close to truths that others had sought to hide. With a gentle push, Matteo opened the door, and they stepped inside, the air cool and slightly musty, as if the space had been undisturbed for years. The room was filled with the scent of linseed oil and turpentine, a sensory echo of the creative endeavors that had once taken place here. In the dim light, they could make out the outlines of easels, canvases, and tools, all shrouded in a thin layer of dust. Leona moved forward, her fingers grazing the surface of a nearby table, collecting a fine layer of dust. "This place feels like a time capsule," she whispered, her voice reverent. As if the artist just stepped out for a moment and could return at any time. Matteo nodded, his eyes scanning the walls where canvases were stacked, some partially obscured beneath sheets. "It's as though the stories are waiting here, Leona, hidden within these layers of paint." Together, they began to explore, their movements careful and deliberate, as if afraid to disturb the delicate balance of the past that lingered in the air. Leona's attention was drawn to a particular canvas, its surface marred by a series of curious symbols and shapes, an enigma painted in oils. Matteo joined her, his brow furrowing in concentration. "These symbols. They seem familiar," he said, tracing the lines with his eyes. "But I can't quite place them." Leona retrieved the journal, flipping through its pages until she found a sketch that mirrored the patterns before them. "Here," she said, excitement coloring her voice. "These symbols are mentioned as part of a code, a key to understanding the deeper meanings hidden within the art." Their discovery sent a thrill through them, a confirmation that their path, though fraught with uncertainty, was aligned with the truths they sought. They continued their examination, piecing together fragments of history, glimpses into the minds of artists who had dared to question, to challenge the status quo. As the night wore on, their fatigue was softened by the exhilaration of discovery. Each canvas, each brushstroke was a conversation with the past, a dialogue that transcended time, connecting Leona and Matteo to a world of shadows and light, of secrets whispered through the ages. Finally, as the first light of dawn began to spill over the horizon, painting the sky with hues of rose and gold, they emerged from the workshop, their minds alight with new insights and possibilities. The city was still, poised on the cusp of waking, and in that moment of serene transition, they felt a profound connection to the soul of the Renaissance. Leona and Matteo stood side by side, their gazes sweeping over the city they had come to love not just for its beauty, but for its complexity and depth, its willingness to embrace both the light and the shadows. They knew their journey was far from over, that more mysteries awaited them, hidden within the folds of history and art. Yet, as the sun rose, casting its golden light upon the city, they felt a sense of peace, a quiet assurance that together, they could unravel the intricacies of the past, illuminating the dark corners with the clarity of understanding. And so, hand in hand, they turned once more toward the heart of Florence, ready to follow wherever the path of discovery might lead them next. The cobbled streets of Florence, bathed in the early morning light, seemed to whisper secrets of ages past to Leona and Matteo as they wandered through the awakening city. The air was crisp, carrying with it the faint scent of blooming jasmine and the earthy aroma of freshly baked bread, mingling with the distant murmur of the Arno River. Each step they took echoed with the stories of those who had walked before them, artists and thinkers who had shaped the Renaissance with their genius and daring visions. As they moved deeper into the city, their destination was a small, unassuming atelier tucked away in a narrow alley, known only to those truly immersed in the world of art and its hidden histories. This workshop, owned by a reclusive maestro named Luca, was rumored to hold rare manuscripts and sketches that chronicled the less celebrated aspects of Renaissance art, those tinged with darkness and controversy. Luca himself was a man of mystery, a guardian of secrets who spoke little but revealed much through his work. His atelier was a sanctuary for those who sought to understand the dual nature of beauty and darkness that defined the era. Leona and Matteo had heard of him through whispers in the corridors of the Accademia, and now, driven by curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, they found themselves standing before the weathered wooden door of his studio. A gentle knock was all it took for the door to creak open, revealing a dimly lit space filled with the rich scent of oils and the soft rustle of parchment. Luca, a man of indeterminate age with eyes that seemed to hold the weight of centuries, greeted them with a nod, gesturing for them to enter. His presence was both calming and enigmatic, as if he were a bridge between the worlds of light and shadow. Inside, the atelier was a treasure trove of artifacts and artworks, some vibrant and others hauntingly dark. Canvases lined the walls, each telling a story of its own, tales of divine beauty intertwined with mortal struggle, of saints and sinners captured in moments of divine rapture or abject despair. The room exuded an atmosphere of quiet reverence, as if the very walls were alive with the spirit of creation. Luca guided them to a table where a series of sketches lay unfurled. They depicted scenes of biblical narratives and mythological tales, but with a twist. Each contained a subtle thread of darkness, a shadow that cast doubt and intrigue over the otherwise familiar compositions. Leona and Matteo leaned in closer, their eyes tracing the delicate lines and intricate details. These, Luca began, his voice a gravelly whisper, are the works of those who dared to explore the shadows of their time. Artists who challenged the status quo, who sought to reveal the truths hidden beneath the veneer of beauty. He pointed to a sketch of the Last Supper, its figures rendered with haunting realism. There was something unsettling in the eyes of Judas, a glint of awareness that seemed to transcend the confines of the scene. In another sketch, a depiction of the Medusa, the serpent-haired Gorgon was portrayed not as a monster, but as a tragic figure, her face a mask of sorrow rather than terror. Leona felt a shiver run down her spine as she absorbed the layers of emotion and meaning in each piece. The art spoke to her, resonating with her own understanding of the world as a place where light and shadow coexisted, where beauty could be born from darkness and vice versa. Matteo, too, was captivated, his mind racing with thoughts of the artists who had dared to defy convention, to explore the darker aspects of human nature. He found himself imagining the courage it took to create such works, to risk censure and misunderstanding in the pursuit of truth. As they continued to explore the atelier, Luca shared stories of the artists whose works they admired, tales of struggle and defiance, of passion and betrayal. There was Caravaggio, whose turbulent life was as dramatic as his chiaroscuro-filled canvases, and Artemisia Gentileschi, who channeled her personal traumas into powerful, emotive art that spoke to the resilience of the human spirit. Each story added another layer to their understanding, painting a picture of an era defined by its contradictions, its light and dark intertwined in a dance as old as time. Leona and Matteo listened, absorbing each word, each nuance, until the morning sun was high in the sky, casting long shadows through the atelier. As they prepared to leave, Luca offered them a parting gift, a small, leather-bound journal filled with sketches and notes, a testament to the duality of the Renaissance. "Take this," he said, his eyes meeting theirs with a knowing look. "Let it guide you as you continue your journey. Remember, the true essence of art lies not in its perfection, but in its ability to provoke thought, to stir the soul." With gratitude, they accepted the journal, feeling the weight of its contents as both a privilege and a responsibility. It was a reminder of the path they had chosen, a path that would lead them through shadows and light, through the heart of an era that had shaped the world in ways both seen and unseen. Leaving the atelier, they stepped back into the bustling streets of Florence, the city now fully awake and alive with the sounds of daily life. The journal clutched in Leona's hand felt like a compass, pointing them toward new mysteries and discoveries waiting to be uncovered. As they walked, their minds were filled with visions of the past and hopes for the future, of the stories yet to be told and the truths yet to be revealed. They knew their journey was far from over, that each step forward would bring them closer to the heart of the Renaissance, to the dark side of art that had been their guiding star. And so, with renewed determination and a sense of wonder, they continued their exploration, ready to embrace the unknown, to see the world through the eyes of those who had dared to dream beyond the boundaries of light and shadow. The cobblestone streets of Florence, like veins through which the lifeblood of the city flowed, led Leona and Marco deeper into the intricate tapestry of the Renaissance. Each turn seemed to offer a new tableau vivant, a street vendor hawking vibrant tapestries, the rich aroma of freshly baked bread wafting from a nearby bakery, and the laughter of children echoing against the stone facades of ancient buildings. Yet, beneath this lively surface, there was a whisper of mystery, a subtle undercurrent that tugged at their senses, urging them to delve deeper into the enigma of their quest. The journal, worn and enigmatically inscribed, was their talisman. It felt alive in Leona's hands, almost as if it could sense the proximity of the secrets it held within its pages. Its leather cover, cracked and softened by time, seemed to breathe with a life of its own, a guardian of stories long untold, a keeper of the shadows that danced between the lines of history. Their path took them toward the Santo Spirito, a basilica that stood as a monument to both divine inspiration and human ambition. Its facade was a canvas of intricate detail, a testament to the artistic fervor that had swept across Florence during the Renaissance. As they approached, the air grew thick with the scent of incense and wax, a sensory reminder of the spiritual and the temporal intertwined. Leona paused at the threshold of the basilica, her eyes tracing the contours of its architecture. "There's something here," she murmured to Marco, her voice a soft ripple in the quietude of the moment. "Something that speaks to the heart of what we've been seeking." Marco nodded, his gaze thoughtful. The dark side of art is not just in the shadows it casts but in the light it reveals. Perhaps we will find both here. Inside, the basilica was a sanctuary of hushed reverence, its vastness a sea of cool marble and golden light. The air was filled with the soft murmur of prayer, the quiet footfalls of the faithful, and the timeless resonance of sacred music. Here, the art was not merely an adornment but a living entity, each fresco and sculpture a testament to the interplay of faith and doubt, devotion and despair. As they wandered through the nave, guided by an invisible thread of intuition, they came upon a side chapel, partially hidden from view. Its entrance was unassuming, yet it radiated an aura of mystery, an invitation to those willing to step beyond the veil of the familiar. Inside the chapel, the light was dim, filtered through stained glass that shimmered with the hues of the divine. The walls were adorned with frescoes, their colors muted by time yet vibrant in their storytelling. Here, the artistry was raw and untempered, a reflection of the human soul in all its complexity. Leona stepped closer to one of the frescoes, her fingers tracing the air just above its surface. The scene depicted was one of conflict, a battle between angels and demons, light and shadow entwined in a dance of cosmic proportions. Yet, within the chaos, there was a sense of balance, an understanding that both light and darkness were necessary to the tapestry of existence. "It's as if the artist knew," Leona whispered, her voice barely audible. "Knew that the beauty of art lies not in its perfection, but in its imperfection, in the struggles and the shadows that give it depth." Marco stood beside her, his gaze fixed on the fresco. "Perhaps that's the true essence of the Renaissance," he mused. "A rebirth not only of art and knowledge but of the human spirit, with all its light and darkness." As they lingered in the chapel, a figure emerged from the shadows, an elderly man with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages. His presence was at once startling and reassuring, as if he were both a guardian and a guide. "You seek the truth behind the art," he said, his voice a gentle echo in the sacred space. "But remember, the truth is not always what it seems. It is layered, like the paintings you see before you, each layer revealing a deeper understanding." Leona and Marco exchanged a glance, their curiosity piqued. "And what is your role in this truth?" Marco asked, his tone respectful yet probing. The old man smiled, a gesture that held both mystery and kindness. I am but a keeper of the stories, a witness to the dance of light and shadow. If you wish to understand, you must be willing to see beyond the surface, to journey into the heart of the art itself. With that, he turned and gestured toward the fresco, inviting them to look deeper, to see not just with their eyes but with their hearts. And so, as the day faded into twilight, Leona and Marco stood before the fresco, their minds and spirits open to the mysteries that lay before them. In that moment, they understood that their journey was not merely about uncovering the dark side of Renaissance art, but about embracing the fullness of its story, the light, the shadow, and the infinite shades in between. The evening air was cool as they left the basilica, the city of Florence a tapestry of lights and shadows beneath the setting sun. The journal in Leona's hand felt lighter somehow, as if the secrets it held were slowly unveiling themselves, one layer at a time. As they walked through the quiet streets, their steps resonating with purpose, they knew that they were not alone in their quest. They were part of a greater narrative, a story woven through the ages, connecting them to the artists and dreamers who had dared to see beyond the boundaries of their time. The night was alive with possibility, the stars above a celestial map guiding them toward the next chapter of their journey. With each step, they embraced the unknown, ready to uncover the truths hidden within the shadows, to discover the beauty that lay in the dance of light and darkness. And so, with hearts full of wonder and minds open to the mysteries of the past, they continued their exploration, each moment a brushstroke on the canvas of their own story, a testament to the enduring power of art and the human spirit. The narrow cobblestone streets seemed to whisper ancient secrets as Leona and her companions ventured deeper into the heart of the city. The journal was a key, unlocking not just the past, but the very essence of an era where art and intrigue intertwined in a dance as intricate as the finest lacework. The chill of the evening air was a gentle reminder of the mysteries that lay ahead, enveloping them in a cloak of anticipation and curiosity. Their destination was the Old Quarter, where the remnants of the Renaissance still clung to the facades of time-worn buildings, their once vibrant frescoes now faded to muted echoes of their former glory. Here, the air was thick with the scent of history, a potent blend of aged stone, the faint trace of burnt incense, and the ghostly aroma of oil paints long since dried. As they rounded a corner, the haunting silhouette of a grand palazzo loomed before them. Its marble columns and ornate balconies seemed to guard the secrets of its illustrious past. Leona paused, her eyes tracing the intricate carvings that adorned the entrance, a symphony of mythological figures and allegorical symbols, each with its own story to tell. "Here we are," murmured Matteo, his voice a soft rumble that barely disturbed the night. Leona nodded, her fingers tightening around the journal. It was here that the next clue lay hidden, buried within the layers of time and the minds of those who had once walked these halls. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, the others following in her wake, their footsteps a quiet echo of the past. The interior of the palazzo was a testament to the opulence of a bygone era. Gilded mirrors lined the walls, reflecting the flickering glow of candlelight that danced in crystal chandeliers above. The floors were a mosaic of marble and inlaid wood, their patterns weaving a tale of grandeur and artistry. Leona's gaze was drawn to a series of tapestries that adorned the walls, each depicting scenes from classical mythology. They were vibrant and alive, as if the figures might step from their woven confines at any moment to join the living world. She could almost hear the rustle of fabric, the whispered conversations of gods and mortals caught in eternal struggle. "Look," whispered Sophia, pointing to a tapestry that seemed slightly out of place amidst the others. Its colors were darker, the scene more somber, a depiction of Orpheus, his lyre abandoned, descending into the underworld. Leona approached, her heart quickening. She ran her fingers lightly over the fabric, feeling the texture of the threads beneath her touch. There was something hidden here, she was certain, a message or a clue that would lead them deeper into the labyrinth of history. "Do you see the way the light falls here?" Matteo pointed to a section of the tapestry where the shadows seemed to deepen, forming a pattern that was almost imperceptible at first glance. Intrigued, Leona leaned closer, tracing the outline of the shadows with her eyes. It was then she noticed it, a series of letters entwined with the dark threads, a cipher woven into the very fabric of the art. Her heart raced as realization dawned. This was no ordinary tapestry. It was a map, a guide to the secrets that lay hidden beneath the surface of Renaissance art. Elysium, Leona breathed, recognizing the word that emerged from the shadows. The paradise of the blessed dead. Sophia nodded, her expression one of awe. It's a clue, isn't it? A sign that we're on the right path. Or a challenge, Matteo added, a glint of excitement in his eyes. A test to see if we are worthy of uncovering the secrets of the past. Leona's mind raced as she pieced together the puzzle. The journal, the tapestries, the whispers of the past, they were all connected, threads in a tapestry of intrigue that stretched across time. But what was the artist's message? And why had it been hidden so carefully? Their next step was clear. They needed to delve deeper, to uncover the stories that lay beneath the surface of the art they had come to love. And so, with renewed determination, they left the palazzo, the night air cool against their skin as they made their way toward the next chapter of their journey. The city was a labyrinth of shadows and light, each corner a potential gateway to the past. As they walked, Leona couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, that unseen eyes followed their every move. It was a sensation that was both exhilarating and unnerving, a reminder of the stakes involved in their quest. Their path led them to a narrow alleyway, its entrance obscured by the overhanging branches of an ancient olive tree. The air was thick with the scent of earth and stone, a reminder of the city's deep roots and the stories it held within its embrace. At the end of the alley stood a modest building, its stone facade worn by time yet resolute against the encroaching shadows. It was here, in this unassuming place, that they would find the next piece of the puzzle. Inside, the atmosphere was one of quiet reverence. The walls were lined with shelves laden with dusty tomes and yellowed manuscripts, their secrets whispering from the pages. In the center of the room stood an easel, a canvas draped in a protective cloth. Leona approached, her heart pounding with anticipation. With a steady hand, she lifted the cloth, revealing the painting beneath, a masterpiece of light and shadow, its colors vibrant and alive despite the passage of time. It was a depiction of a scene from Dante's Divine Comedy, the figures caught in a moment of transcendence as they reached for the light. But it was the background that captured Leona's attention, a landscape that seemed to echo the words from the tapestry, a vision of Elysium bathed in ethereal glow. "This is it," she whispered, her voice filled with wonder. "This is what we've been searching for." The others gathered around, their eyes wide with amazement. They could feel the power of the painting, the way it seemed to pulse with life, its secrets waiting to be uncovered. As they studied the canvas, they began to see the connections, the threads that wove their way through the art and the stories it told. Each brushstroke held meaning, each color a message from the past, a testament to the enduring power of creativity and the human spirit. In that moment, they knew they were not alone. They were part of a legacy that transcended time, a tapestry of art and history that bound them to the artists and dreamers who had come before. And as they stood there, bathed in the light of the painting, they felt a sense of awe and gratitude for the journey they had undertaken. For in the shadows of the Renaissance, they had found not just the secrets of the past, but a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. And as they prepared to continue their quest, they knew that the road ahead was filled with promise, a canvas waiting to be painted with the colors of their own story. As the first light of dawn filtered through the museum's high windows, casting ethereal beams across the ancient floor, Isabella and Lorenzo knew their journey had only just begun. The air was thick with the aroma of aged wood and the faint scent of oil paint, mingling with the soft rustle of pages as Isabella leafed through a worn journal she discovered in their exploration. It was a relic of the past, its leather cover cracked and weathered, yet inside it held the whispers of artists long gone, their thoughts immortalized in ink. Lorenzo's eyes were drawn back to the painting before them, an enigma wrapped in a cloak of color and shadow. The figures seemed to shift slightly in the early light, as if awakening from a slumber, their expressions more vivid, their stories more urgent. The central figure, a young woman draped in a gown of deep crimson, held a gaze that seemed to pierce through time, her eyes alight with wisdom and sorrow. "What do you think it all means?" Isabella's voice was soft, a mere murmur in the vastness of the gallery. Lorenzo pondered, tracing the delicate brushwork with his gaze. "It's as if each figure is a piece of a puzzle, each expression a clue to something greater than itself." The Renaissance was a time of rebirth, a celebration of human potential, but also a period shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Isabella nodded, her fingers brushing the pages of the journal. Perhaps these paintings were more than just art. Maybe they were a language, a way for artists to speak truths that could not be spoken aloud. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden gust of wind that swept through the room, carrying with it the scent of the outdoors, the promise of adventure. Isabella and Lorenzo exchanged a glance, their shared determination mirrored in each other's eyes. They knew they had to follow this thread, to unravel the secrets woven into the fabric of the Renaissance. With careful hands, Lorenzo rolled up the ancient map they'd found alongside the journal, its edges stained with time, its surface marked with cryptic symbols and notations. It was their guide to the hidden corners of Florence, a city that still pulsed with the spirit of its storied past. As they stepped out into the morning light, the city unfolded before them like a living tapestry. The narrow streets were bustling with life, vendors calling out their wares, the scent of fresh bread mingling with the earthy aroma of herbs from the market stalls. The air was alive with the hum of conversation, the laughter of children, the distant echo of a church bell. They navigated the labyrinthine alleys, their footsteps echoing off the cobblestones, guided by the map and their intuition. Isabella was drawn to a small, unassuming door tucked away in a quiet corner of the city, its wooden surface worn and unadorned. There was something about it, a subtle pull that she couldn't ignore. Pushing the door open, they stepped into a dimly lit workshop. The scent of varnish and sawdust filled the air, mingling with the rich aroma of coffee brewing in a corner. The room was a sanctuary for the creation of beauty, its walls lined with canvases, each depicting scenes of life and myth, moments frozen in time. An elderly man emerged from the shadows, his eyes twinkling with a mischievous light. "Ah, seekers of secrets," he greeted them, his voice smooth as velvet. "What brings you to my humble abode?" Isabella smiled, holding up the journal as if it were a talisman. "We're following the echoes of the past, trying to understand the language of the Renaissance." The man nodded, his gaze thoughtful. "Art is a language, indeed, but it's one that speaks in whispers, in the spaces between words and colors. To understand it, you must listen not just with your ears, but with your heart." Lorenzo and Isabella listened intently as the man shared stories of artists who had walked these very streets, their lives intertwined with the power struggles and passions of their time. He spoke of the forbidden love affairs, the secret societies that met under the cover of darkness, the art that was both a rebellion and a celebration of life. As the morning turned to afternoon, the workshop became a haven of knowledge and inspiration. The elderly man showed them sketches and unfinished works, each one a glimpse into the mind of its creator. Isabella and Lorenzo absorbed it all, their minds alight with possibilities, their hearts beating in time with the pulse of the city around them. But amidst the warmth and camaraderie, there was an undercurrent of tension, a reminder of the darker side of the art they pursued. The Renaissance was not just a time of beauty, but also one of danger, where artists often risked their lives to express truths that others sought to suppress. As the sun began its descent, painting the sky with hues of orange and gold, Isabella and Lorenzo knew it was time to continue their journey. They thanked the old man for his wisdom, his stories a gift they would cherish as they delved deeper into the mysteries of the past. Stepping back into the bustling streets of Florence, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with challenges and revelations, but they were ready to face it together. The city was their canvas now, each street and building a brushstroke, each encounter a splash of color in their unfolding story. As they walked, the shadows lengthening around them, they could almost hear the whispers of the artists who had come before, their voices carried on the evening breeze. The journey was far from over, and the secrets of the Renaissance awaited them, hidden in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. The cobblestone streets of Florence unfurled before Isabella and Lorenzo like a labyrinthine tapestry, each step echoing with the footsteps of history. The city, with its towering cathedrals and bustling markets, seemed to breathe with life, its soul interwoven with the stories of the past. As they walked, the air grew cooler, carrying the scent of roasted chestnuts and the faint, lingering aroma of lavender from the nearby countryside. Their first stop was the Palazzo Vecchio, a fortress-like structure that stood stoically against the encroaching dusk. The building had witnessed centuries of intrigue and artistry, its walls adorned with frescoes that whispered of power struggles and clandestine meetings. Isabella and Lorenzo entered the dimly lit halls, the air thick with the weight of history and the faint murmur of tourists. Isabella paused before a grand painting depicting the Medici family, their faces stern and unyielding. "Look at their eyes," she whispered to Lorenzo. "There's a story there, hidden beneath the layers of paint." Lorenzo nodded, his gaze tracing the contours of the figures. The Medici were patrons, yes, but also puppeteers in the grand theater of art and politics. Imagine the secrets these walls have seen. Their exploration was interrupted by a soft, almost imperceptible sound. It was the rustling of a page, the gentle turning of an ancient book. Intrigued, they followed the sound through a narrow corridor, the walls closing in like a secret passage. At the end, they found a small room, its ceiling low and arched like a hidden alcove. Inside, a solitary figure sat hunched over a manuscript, the flickering candlelight casting long shadows across the parchment. The man looked up as they entered, his eyes sharp and curious. "You seek the truth of the Renaissance?" he asked, his voice a whisper, as if afraid to disturb the ghosts residing in the room. Isabella and Lorenzo exchanged a glance, their curiosity piqued. "We seek to understand the art, the hidden stories behind the brushstrokes," Isabella replied. The man nodded, gesturing for them to sit. The Renaissance was a time of great beauty, yes, but also of great darkness. Artists were visionaries, often walking a thin line between patronage and persecution. They encoded secrets in their works, truths too dangerous to speak aloud. His words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Isabella leaned in, her heart quickening with anticipation. "What kind of secrets?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The man smiled cryptically, his fingers tracing the edges of the manuscript. Many artists were part of secret societies, using their art to communicate messages that could not be spoken. Look deeper into the paintings, into the shadows and the light. There you will find the hidden symbols, the messages left for those with eyes to see. Lorenzo felt a shiver run down his spine. The idea of hidden messages, of art as a code, was both thrilling and daunting. "And where do we start?" he asked, his voice steady despite the excitement bubbling within him. The man leaned back, his eyes glinting with a secret knowledge. "The Uffizi Gallery," he said simply. "There you will find the works of Botticelli, Leonardo, Michelangelo, each painting a doorway, each brushstroke a clue." With a nod of gratitude, Isabella and Lorenzo left the room, their minds ablaze with possibilities. As they stepped back into the night, the city seemed to pulse with a new energy, as if Florence itself was guiding them on their quest. The Uffizi Gallery awaited them, a treasure trove of art and mystery. Its halls were lined with masterpieces, each piece a puzzle waiting to be solved. They wandered through the gallery, their eyes drawn to the vibrant colors and intricate details of the paintings. At last, they stood before Botticelli's Primavera, its delicate figures dancing across the canvas. Isabella studied the painting closely, her mind racing with the possibilities. "Do you see it?" she asked Lorenzo, her finger tracing the outline of a figure. Lorenzo nodded slowly, his eyes focused on the enigmatic expressions of the characters. The symbols are there, hidden in plain sight. It's like a language of art. Their journey through the gallery was a revelation, each painting offering a new insight, a new piece of the puzzle. As they moved from one masterpiece to the next, they felt a growing sense of connection to the artists who had come before. These were not just paintings, they were messages, lifelines thrown across the centuries. As the night deepened, they left the gallery, their minds swirling with the weight of newfound knowledge. The city seemed to hum with energy, its streets alive with the whispers of the past. They walked in silence, their thoughts weaving together a tapestry of history and art, of light and shadow. In the quiet of the night, as they crossed the Ponte Vecchio, the river below reflecting the moon's silvery glow, Isabella and Lorenzo felt a sense of peace, a calm before the storm of discovery that awaited them. They were on the cusp of something extraordinary, a journey that would take them deeper into the heart of the Renaissance, into the dark and hidden corners where truth and beauty intertwined. The secrets of the Renaissance were waiting to be uncovered, concealed within the layers of paint and history. And as they walked hand in hand through the sleeping city, they knew they were ready to face whatever mysteries lay ahead, their path illuminated by the light of art and the courage of those who had come before. As the night wrapped the city in its tranquil embrace, Isabella and Lorenzo meandered through the cobblestone streets, their footsteps echoing softly in the stillness. The air was cool, carrying with it the scent of ancient stone and blooming jasmine, a sensory reminder of the timelessness of Florence. The duo was ensconced in a shared silence, a comfortable quiet that spoke volumes of their shared resolve and the deep connection that had formed between them. The city, with its rich tapestry of history and culture, seemed to breathe with life even in the quietest hours. Shadows danced along the walls of narrow alleyways, flickering in the warm glow of the street lamps. Each corner they turned seemed to whisper secrets of the past, stories of artists and patrons, of passion and ambition. It was as though the city itself was a living canvas, painted with the dreams and fears of those who had walked its streets centuries before. They found themselves wandering toward the Piazza della Signoria, the heart of Florence, where the imposing Palazzo Vecchio stood as a testament to the city's storied past. The statues that adorned the square, silent sentinels in the night, seemed to watch them with knowing eyes. Among them, Michelangelo's David stood resolute, a symbol of human strength and beauty, yet also a reminder of the complexities that lay beneath the surface of Renaissance art. Isabella paused, her gaze drawn to the intricate details of the sculptures, her mind awash with the narratives they embodied. It's as if each piece holds a fragment of history, she mused, her voice a soft melody in the quiet night. Lorenzo nodded, his eyes tracing the contours of the statues, each one a masterpiece in its own right. They are echoes of their creators' souls, he replied, a hint of reverence in his tone. Hidden within the marble and bronze are the struggles and triumphs of those who dared to defy the limits of their time. As they stood there, enveloped by the historical weight of the piazza, a sense of anticipation began to stir within them. There was an unspoken understanding that their journey had only just begun, that the true depths of the Renaissance's secrets were yet to be unveiled. It was a journey that promised both illumination and peril, a path that would lead them into the heart of a world where art was both a mirror and a mask for the human condition. Their exploration of the Renaissance's darker side had begun with a whisper, a hint of something extraordinary hidden beneath layers of beauty and brilliance. Now, as they prepared to delve deeper, the whispers grew louder, urging them onward, promising revelations that would challenge their perceptions and ignite their imaginations. In the days that followed, Isabella and Lorenzo immersed themselves in the world of Renaissance art, visiting museums and galleries, engaging with historians and scholars. Each encounter brought them closer to the truth, peeling back the layers of myth and legend to reveal the complexities that lay beneath. They discovered the stories of artists who had pushed the boundaries of creativity, who had navigated the treacherous waters of patronage and politics. They learned of the rivalries and collaborations that had fueled the artistic explosion of the era, of the tensions between innovation and tradition, and the delicate dance between power and expression. But it was in the quiet moments, in the hushed corners of libraries and the shadowed alcoves of churches, that they found the true heart of their quest. Here, amid the dusty tomes and faded frescoes, they uncovered the untold stories of those who had been forgotten by history, the artists and thinkers whose contributions had been overshadowed by the luminaries of their time. One such story was that of a painter known only by the initials AV, a mysterious figure whose work had been largely overlooked by art historians. AV's paintings, they discovered, held a unique power, a haunting beauty that seemed to transcend the boundaries of time. The colors were rich and vibrant, yet there was an underlying darkness, a sense of turmoil and longing that resonated with the viewer. Intrigued by the enigmatic artist, Isabella and Lorenzo delved deeper into AV's life, piecing together fragments from letters and diaries, from sketches and unfinished canvases. They learned of the artist's struggles, of the personal tragedies that had shaped their work, and the unyielding passion that had driven them to create despite the odds. As they uncovered the layers of AV's story, Isabella and Lorenzo found themselves drawn into a world where art was not just a reflection of society, but a powerful force for change. It was a world where the lines between light and shadow blurred, where beauty and darkness coexisted in a delicate balance. Their journey was not without its challenges. The path they had chosen was fraught with uncertainty, with questions that often seemed to lead only to more questions. Yet, for every obstacle they encountered, there was a moment of clarity, a revelation that illuminated their way forward. One such moment came during a visit to a small chapel on the outskirts of the city. The chapel was unassuming, its exterior weathered by time, yet inside it held a treasure trove of art, a testament to the enduring legacy of the Renaissance. As they stood before a fresco that depicted the martyrdom of a saint, Isabella felt a sense of awe wash over her. The colors were vibrant, the figures lifelike, yet there was an intensity to the scene that spoke of something deeper, something unspoken. "It's as if the artist captured a moment of transcendence," she whispered, her voice filled with wonder. Lorenzo nodded, his gaze fixed on the fresco. "It's a reminder of the power of art to convey the human experience, to capture the essence of what it means to be alive." In that moment, they understood that their journey was not just about uncovering the secrets of the past, but about embracing the complexity of the human spirit, about finding beauty in the shadows and light in the darkness. As they left the chapel, their hearts full of newfound understanding, Isabella and Lorenzo knew that their quest was far from over. There were still mysteries to unravel, stories to discover, and truths to be revealed. And as they continued their journey, hand in hand, they felt a sense of purpose, a certainty that they were on the right path, guided by the light of art and the courage of those who had come before. In the end, it was not the answers they found that mattered, but the journey itself, the exploration of a world where art and life were inextricably intertwined, where the past and present danced together in a timeless embrace. And as they walked through the sleeping city, the whispers of the Renaissance echoing in their hearts, they knew they were ready to face whatever mysteries lay ahead, their spirits alight with the promise of discovery. The city lay cloaked in the velvety embrace of night, its ancient cobblestones whispering secrets beneath the feet of Isabella and Lorenzo as they navigated the labyrinthine streets. Each step they took seemed to resonate with the echoes of forgotten artists, their passions and pains etched into the very fabric of the city. The air, tinged with the earthy scent of aged stone and the sweet aroma of night-blooming jasmine, was thick with the weight of history and anticipation. As they wandered through the narrow alleys, the flickering lanterns cast elongated shadows that danced like phantoms, playful yet haunting. The night was alive with the murmurs of hidden stories, each corner they turned promising a new revelation, a new truth waiting to be uncovered. They found themselves drawn to a small, unassuming building nestled between grandiose palaces. Its modest facade belied the treasure trove within, a repository of art forgotten by time, hidden from the eyes of those who sought only the grand and the glorious. As they crossed the threshold, A chill ran down their spines, not of fear, but of the exhilarating anticipation that comes with the promise of discovery. Inside, the room was dimly lit, the walls adorned with paintings that seemed to pulse with life. Here were works of art that defied the conventions of their time, pieces that had been deemed too dark, too controversial, too honest. Each canvas was a window into the soul of its creator, revealing the turmoil and ecstasy that lay beneath the polished veneer of Renaissance art. Isabella's eyes were drawn to a painting that stood apart from the rest, its colors muted yet vibrant, its subject both haunting and beautiful. It depicted a solitary figure standing on the precipice of a vast, dark expanse, the horizon aglow with the faintest hint of dawn. The figure's expression was one of serene defiance, a silent testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Lorenzo, standing beside her, felt the painting's pull as well. It's as if the artist captured the very essence of the struggle between light and darkness, he mused, his voice barely above a whisper. The eternal dance of hope and despair. Isabella nodded, her eyes tracing the delicate brushstrokes that brought the scene to life. There's a raw honesty here, she said softly, an acknowledgement of the shadows we all carry within us and the light we strive to find. They lingered before the painting, lost in its depths, until a gentle cough drew their attention. An elderly man stood in the doorway, his eyes twinkling with the wisdom of years. His presence was as unassuming as the building itself, yet there was an air of quiet authority about him, as if he were the custodian of these forgotten masterpieces. "Ah, I see you have discovered one of my favorites," he said, his voice warm and inviting. The artist was a visionary, unafraid to explore the darker aspects of our existence. His work reminds us that art is not merely about capturing beauty, but about confronting the truths we often shy away from. Isabella and Lorenzo exchanged a glance, their curiosity piqued. Who was he? Isabella asked, eager to learn more about the enigmatic figure behind the canvas. The old man smiled, his eyes alight with the joy of sharing a cherished secret. His name was Matteo di Volterra, a master of chiaroscuro, though his name has been lost to the annals of history. He lived during the height of the Renaissance, yet his work was often overshadowed by his more illustrious contemporaries. Why? Lorenzo inquired, captivated by the mystery of the forgotten artist. He dared to defy convention, the old man explained, gesturing to the paintings that lined the walls. While others sought to glorify the divine and the ideal, Matteo delved into the complexities of the human soul. His art was a reflection of the world as he saw it, beautiful and terrible, light and dark. As they listened, Isabella and Lorenzo felt a deep kinship with the artist whose work spoke so eloquently to their own quest for understanding. Here was a soul kindred to theirs, one who had walked the same path of discovery, unearthing truths that lay buried beneath the surface. "Is there more of his work?" Isabella asked, her voice tinged with hope. The custodian nodded, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "Indeed, there is a hidden gallery, known only to a few. If you wish, I can show you the way." Their hearts quickened with excitement as they followed the old man through a narrow passageway that wound deeper into the building. The air grew cooler, the shadows longer, as if they were descending into the depths of a forgotten world. At last, they emerged into a cavernous chamber, the walls lined with paintings that seemed to glow with an inner light. Here was the culmination of Matteo di Volterra's life's work, a gallery of masterpieces that spanned the breadth of human emotion. Isabella and Lorenzo moved from painting to painting, each one revealing a new facet of the artist's vision. There were scenes of joy and sorrow, triumph and despair, each rendered with a depth of emotion that was both overwhelming and uplifting. In one, a group of figures danced beneath a moonlit sky, their movements a celebration of life and love. In another, a solitary figure knelt in prayer, the weight of the world etched into their features. Each piece was a testament to the complexity of the human experience, a reminder that art was not merely a reflection of life, but a means of transcending it. As they stood before a particularly striking piece, a depiction of a storm-tossed sea, its waves crashing against a rocky shore, Isabella felt a sense of peace wash over her. Here, amidst the chaos and tumult, was a glimmer of hope, a promise that even in the darkest of times, there was light to be found. "It is extraordinary, is it not?" the old man said, joining them. Matteo understood that art was not just about capturing the world as it is, but about revealing the world as it could be. He saw the potential for beauty in every shadow, every moment of darkness. Lorenzo nodded, his heart full of gratitude for the gift they had been given. It's a reminder that even in the face of uncertainty, there is always the possibility of grace. As they prepared to leave, the custodian placed a gentle hand on Isabella's shoulder. "Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. Continue to seek the truth, and you will find it in the most unexpected places." With those words echoing in their hearts, Isabella and Lorenzo stepped back into the night, the city now a canvas of infinite possibilities. The mysteries of the Renaissance lay before them, waiting to be uncovered, their journey a testament to the enduring power of art to illuminate the human soul. And as they walked hand in hand through the quiet streets, they carried with them the knowledge that they were not alone in their quest. They were part of a legacy that spanned centuries, a tapestry woven from the threads of countless lives, each one a story waiting to be told. The cobblestone streets of Florence whispered beneath their feet, each step resonating with the echoes of history. The moon hung low and full, casting its silvery glow over the ancient architecture, turning stone facades into ghostly figures standing sentinel over the city. The air was crisp, tinged with the scent of distant jasmine and the earthy aroma of the Arno River winding its way through the city like a timeless serpent. Isabella and Lorenzo moved with a renewed sense of purpose, their hearts beating in quiet rhythm with the pulse of the Renaissance city. The revelations of the evening had set their minds alight, sparking a flame of curiosity that burned brightly against the backdrop of the night. They were seekers of truth in an age where shadows danced with light, where the line between reality and the fantastical could blur with just a stroke of a painter's brush. Their path led them to the edge of the bustling piazza, where the imposing silhouette of the Palazzo Vecchio loomed against the night sky. The tower stretched upwards, a finger pointing towards the heavens, its stones whispering tales of intrigue and power. It was here, in the heart of Florence, that the Medici had woven their complex web of influence, their patronage of the arts a double-edged sword that both gilded and shadowed the city. As they paused to take in the majesty of the palazzo, Isabella's thoughts turned inward, her mind a kaleidoscope of images and ideas. She was drawn to the dark side of the Renaissance, the underbelly of an era often romanticized for its beauty and genius. Yet beneath the surface, there lay a world of secrets and conspiracies, where ambitions collided and destinies were forged in the crucible of human desire. "What do you think we'll find next?" Lorenzo asked, his voice a gentle murmur that blended with the night. Isabella considered his question, her gaze lingering on the sculptures that adorned the piazza. They were frozen in time, each one a testament to the skill and vision of the artists who had carved them from cold, unyielding marble. "Perhaps not what, but who," she replied thoughtfully. The Renaissance was a stage, and its players were as varied as the stars in the sky. Each one has a story, a piece of the puzzle waiting to be uncovered. Lorenzo nodded, understanding her intuition. The past was more than a collection of dates and events. It was a living tapestry woven from the lives of those who had dared to dream beyond the confines of their time. It was a reminder that the human spirit, in all its complexity, was both a creator and a destroyer, capable of acts of profound beauty and deep darkness. Their footsteps carried them onward, past the narrow alleys that twisted like veins through the city. The shadows here were deep, the kind that seemed to shift and breathe with a life of their own. Lorenzo felt a shiver of anticipation, the air charged with a sense of expectancy, as if the city itself was aware of their quest and was guiding them towards some hidden truth. As they rounded a corner, the sound of distant music reached their ears, a haunting melody that drifted through the night like a siren's call. Drawn by its allure, they followed the sound, their curiosity piqued. The music led them to a courtyard bathed in moonlight, where a solitary figure played a lute, the notes weaving a tapestry of sound that seemed to resonate with the very stones of the city. The musician was an older man, his face etched with the lines of a life lived in harmony with his art. His eyes remained closed as his fingers danced across the strings, each note a brushstroke on the canvas of silence. Isabella and Lorenzo stood entranced, the music a balm that soothed the tumult of their thoughts, allowing them to lose themselves in the moment. As the last note faded into the night, the musician opened his eyes, his gaze meeting theirs with a knowing smile. "Ah, seekers of truth," he said, his voice as melodic as his music. "You are not the first to wander these streets in search of answers." Isabella stepped forward, her curiosity piqued. "Do you speak of the Renaissance? Of the artists and their secrets?" The musician nodded, his expression one of gentle amusement. The Renaissance was a time of great enlightenment, but also of great shadows. Artists were not merely creators of beauty. They were chroniclers of their time, their work revealing truths that many preferred to keep hidden. Lorenzo leaned in, eager to learn more. "Can you tell us what you know? We've uncovered pieces of a puzzle, but there is so much more we don't understand." The musician regarded them thoughtfully, his eyes reflecting the wisdom of years. Art is a mirror, reflecting both the light and darkness of the human soul. The Medici, the artists, the thinkers of the time, they all played their parts in a grand design, each one contributing to a legacy that is both glorious and troubled. He gestured towards the stars, his voice soft and contemplative. "Look to the heavens, and you will see the constellations, each one a story of gods and mortals, of triumphs and tragedies." The art of the Renaissance is much the same, a celestial dance of light and shadow, where truth is often hidden beneath layers of allegory and symbolism. Isabella felt a thrill of understanding, the musician's words resonating with her own thoughts. So, the art is not just to be seen, but to be read, like a language of its own. The musician nodded, a smile playing on his lips. "Precisely, and those who can read it find themselves privy to secrets that transcend time." The artists were visionaries, their work a testament to the enduring power of truth, even when cloaked in darkness. Lorenzo felt a surge of gratitude, the musician's insights illuminating their path like a beacon. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "Your words have given us much to consider." The musician inclined his head, his expression serene. "The journey is yours, and yours alone. But remember, the art is a guide, a way to navigate the complexities of the human experience. Trust in it, and you will find what you seek." With those parting words, the musician returned to his lute, the courtyard once again filled with the ethereal strains of his music. Isabella and Lorenzo lingered for a moment longer, allowing the notes to wash over them, before turning to leave, their hearts lightened by the encounter. As they walked away, hand in hand, the city seemed to come alive around them, its secrets whispering in the shadows, its history a living entity that embraced them in its fold. They were part of a continuum, bound by the unbreakable threads of art and truth, their journey a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to seek, to question, and ultimately, to understand. And as they disappeared into the labyrinthine streets, the night closed in behind them, the city of Florence holding its breath, waiting for the next chapter of their story to unfold. The moon hung low, casting a silver glow over the cobblestones, as if illuminating the path that Isabella and Lorenzo were meant to tread. The echoes of the musician's melody lingered in the air, a gentle reminder that their journey was just beginning. Their footsteps, though quiet, resonated with purpose. Each step carried the weight of their newfound understanding, yet also the lightness of hearts unburdened by doubt. They moved through the city as if Florence itself was guiding them, its ancient walls whispering secrets only they were meant to hear. The night was alive with possibilities, each shadow a potential doorway to another adventure, each breeze a whisper of promises yet to be fulfilled. They paused at a small bridge overlooking the Arno, the river reflecting the stars like scattered jewels upon its surface. In that moment of stillness, they realized that they were not merely observers of the world around them, but active participants in its ever-unfolding story. Isabella turned to Lorenzo, her eyes reflecting the starlit sky. "Do you think we'll ever truly understand it all?" she asked softly. Lorenzo smiled, a warmth that rivaled the sun's embrace spreading through him. "Perhaps not all," he replied, "but enough to keep us searching and dreaming." With that, they continued on, their path illuminated by the shared light of their hopes and dreams. The city watched them go, its ancient heart beating in time with theirs, knowing that the story it held within its walls would continue to grow and evolve, as it always had. And so, Isabella and Lorenzo walked on into the night, their spirits as boundless as the stars above, their story an endless tapestry woven from the threads of love, art, and the eternal quest for understanding. The city of Florence sighed in contentment, for it knew that as long as there were dreamers and seekers, its stories would never end, only begin anew with each rising sun. As they strolled along the cobblestone streets, the gentle whispers of the Arno River accompanied their steps, a timeless melody that had serenaded countless souls before them. The night air was cool and fragrant, carrying the scent of jasmine and history, wrapping around them like a comforting embrace. Isabella and Lorenzo paused at the Ponte Vecchio, the bridge an old friend that had witnessed centuries of love and laughter, of whispered secrets and stolen glances. The moon cast a silvery glow upon the water, transforming the river into a ribbon of liquid light. "Look," Lorenzo said, pointing to the reflection of the stars dancing on the surface. "It's as if the universe is speaking to us, telling us that we are part of something greater." Isabella nodded, feeling the truth of his words resonate deep within her. "And perhaps that's the beauty of it," she mused, "that we don't need to understand everything, just embrace the journey and the connections we make along the way." With renewed purpose, they continued their walk, each step a testament to the bond they shared in the city that had cradled their dreams. The night unfolded around them, a canvas painted with the hues of infinite possibilities. As they reached the steps of the cathedral, they paused once more, the grandeur of the Duomo standing as a reminder of human creativity and resilience. In its shadow, they felt both small and infinite, a paradox that filled them with awe. "To Florence," Isabella whispered, raising an imaginary glass to the city that had become a part of them. "To us," Lorenzo replied, his voice a gentle echo in the night. And so, hand in hand, they walked back into the embrace of their beloved city, their hearts beating in harmony with its eternal rhythm. The stories of Florence flowed around them, a river of memories and dreams, promising that as long as there were hearts willing to listen, the city would continue to sing its song. And with each step they took, under the watchful gaze of the stars, Isabella and Lorenzo became not just part of the story, but part of its soul, knowing that their journey was but one verse in the endless poem of life, love, and the pursuit of understanding. As they disappeared into the winding streets, the night enveloped them like a soft, velvet cloak, whispering secrets of the past and dreams of the future. The gentle murmur of the Arno accompanied their steps, a timeless melody that had serenaded countless lovers before them. In the stillness, the city breathed with them, every stone and shadow a testament to lives lived and stories told. The air was rich with the scent of blooming jasmine, a fragrant reminder of the beauty that thrived even in the quiet corners of history. Their laughter, light and musical, mingled with the whispers of the city, a harmonious duet of joy and contentment. It was as if Florence itself had blessed their union, wrapping them in a tapestry of art and romance, where every glance and touch was a brushstroke on the canvas of their shared story. As the night deepened, they found themselves by the Ponte Vecchio, the old bridge standing steadfast against the passage of time. Here, beneath the moon's gentle gaze, they paused once more, letting the moment etch itself into their hearts. "We are but travelers in this life," Isabella mused, her voice a soft caress. "Yet, in this city, I feel as though we have found a piece of eternity." Lorenzo smiled, his eyes reflecting the shimmering waters below. "And in each other, we have found home." With that, they turned away from the river, their silhouettes blending into the tapestry of Florence. The city, in all its ageless beauty, held them close, cradling their dreams and hopes within its ancient embrace. And so, beneath the eternal sky, Isabella and Lorenzo continued their journey, forever entwined with the soul of Florence, their love a beacon of light in the enduring night, a testament to the timeless dance of life and love. As they walked hand in hand through the winding streets, the city whispered secrets of its own, tales of lovers past and present, of dreams spun like silken threads in the night air. Every cobblestone, every shadow seemed to know their story, and in turn, they became part of the city's endless narrative, a living echo of all who had walked there before. The bells of Santa Maria del Fiore chimed softly in the distance, marking the hour with a serene cadence. Each note was a reminder of time's gentle passage, yet in the hearts of Isabella and Lorenzo, time felt suspended, as if the universe had conspired to weave this moment outside the bounds of reality. Isabella paused, her gaze lingering on the grand dome, its silhouette a guardian of dreams under the celestial canopy. "Do you think," she pondered aloud, "that we'll carry this night with us, wherever we go?" Lorenzo nodded, pulling her closer. "This night, this city, it's a part of us now. No matter where the winds of life may take us, Florence will remain, a hidden corner of our souls, a place where our hearts learn to dance." Their footsteps carried them onward, through the narrow alleys and vibrant piazzas, each step a gentle farewell and a promise of return. As dawn's first light began to brush the city with hues of gold and rose, they found themselves at the edge of the Arno once more. The river, a silent witness to their journey, flowed steadily, its waters a mirror to the morning sky. Here, in this sacred silence, they knew that their story was but a chapter in the greater narrative of life. Yet, it was a chapter written with love, crafted with the tender care of two souls who had found their way to each other in a world vast and wondrous. With a final glance at the city that had become their haven, Isabella and Lorenzo whispered their vows to the rising sun, promises woven with the threads of hope and memory. And as they turned to face the future, they knew that Florence would forever be the heartbeat of their shared journey, a timeless song that would echo in the corridors of their souls. Thus, their story slipped gently into the dawn, a tapestry of love and dreams unfurling beneath the eternal sky, a testament to the enduring magic of life and the power of love to illuminate even the darkest night. And so, hand in hand, Isabella and Lorenzo began their walk back across the ancient bridge, their footsteps light and harmonious, as if they were dancing to an unheard melody. The early morning air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of blooming jasmine and the promise of new beginnings. As they passed familiar streets and whispered farewells to the statues and facades that had borne silent witness to their story, they felt a profound gratitude for the city that had cradled their love. Each cobblestone seemed to pulse with the shared history of countless lovers who had walked this path before them, and Isabella and Lorenzo knew they were part of a legacy that transcended time. Reaching the piazza where they had first met, they paused, allowing the moment to etch itself into their hearts. The sun now bathed the square in golden light, casting long shadows that danced playfully around them. They smiled at each other, the kind of smile that spoke of secrets shared and futures imagined. And there, amidst the bustling life of Florence awakening to another day, they embraced the unknown with courage and joy, ready to write new chapters together. Their journey, like the river, would continue to flow, winding through valleys of laughter and hills of challenge, but always moving forward, always bound by the love that had brought them here. Florence, with its timeless beauty and eternal spirit, would remain a cherished memory, a reminder of where they had found not only each other but also themselves. As they walked on, their hearts beat in unison with the city, a harmony that would guide them through whatever the horizon might bring. Thus, as the morning unfurled its colors across the sky, Isabella and Lorenzo stepped into the day, their souls alight with the quiet confidence of those who have truly loved and been loved in return. Their story, like the ancient city, would endure, a beacon of hope and a testament to the infinite possibilities of the human heart. As the sun ascended, casting a golden hue over the cobblestones and warming the ancient facades, Isabella and Lorenzo felt the gentle embrace of time itself, a reminder that every moment was both fleeting and eternal. The whispers of the past mingled with the promises of the future, creating a symphony that only they could hear. Each step they took was a dance through history, a waltz that echoed with the footsteps of countless lovers and dreamers who had wandered these same streets. The Arno River, ever present and serene, mirrored their journey, its waters reflecting the vibrant tapestry of the city and the depth of their shared dreams. In the quiet corners of their minds, they carried the wisdom of the ages and the innocence of a new beginning. It was a paradox that only love could resolve, binding them together in a tapestry woven from silken threads of destiny and choice. As they paused to admire the cityscape from the Ponte Vecchio, the bridge that had witnessed centuries of stories, Isabella turned to Lorenzo with a smile that spoke of forever. Her eyes, filled with the light of 1,000 dawns, met his, and in that gaze, they found a universe of possibilities. In the end, it was not the grand gestures or the monumental moments that defined their tale, but the quiet assurances, the gentle touches, and the shared silences that spoke volumes. It was in these simple acts that they discovered the true essence of their being, a love that was both an anchor and a sail. Together, they stepped forward, hand in hand, ready to embrace the world and all its wonders. And as they disappeared into the mosaic of life, the city of Florence, with all its stories and secrets, stood as a silent witness to their promise. A vow as enduring as the stones beneath their feet and as boundless as the sky above. Thus, their story became a part of the city's eternal narrative, a gentle reminder that love, in all its forms, is the most profound adventure of all. And so, with hearts full and eyes open, Isabella and Lorenzo can ever onward into the light,